connecting through the web to the Linux server. And the server management is stuff related to the maintenance of the server itself. Access control is where you can elevate users or remove their rights, groups, all kinds of access permissions are configured and maintained here. Audit logs are logs where you can see all kinds of logs that are happening and writing themselves in the background. So the device management section menu includes enrollment, revocation, unlock. These are the main ones that we use here. So just a tiny word about trusted serial numbers. This is an interesting, there are a couple of types to enroll, a couple of ways to enroll certificates, enroll devices with certificates. One of them is called self-enrollment, okay? Self-enrollment is basically a scenario where a user has an empty card, totally empty card, and he calls his administrator and tells them, hey, I want to enroll my new card. What can I do? So the admin asks him to send over his serial number. Then he adds the serial number to become trusted. He adds it to the trusted list. Now the OpenTrust solution recognizes that user's serial number. Also, you can choose a profile to enroll specifically for that serial number. And once the user will insert his card now, he will be able to self-enroll remotely from his end at work. He'll be able to enroll a certificate and start working. You can add here, you can manage the trusted serial numbers. By the way, this also we'll see in the screen recordings in a couple of more slides. Revocation. This is where we can basically, we're not revoking certificates here, we're revoking devices. And this is, for me as a tester, this is important because sometimes I want to use a card that I used in the OpenTrust solution in other testing scenarios. So if I don't revoke the device first of all, then I won't be able to use it again in the solution. So this is a neat thing to know. Unlock. We'll talk about this in depth later on. There are about 4 ways to unlock a card in this OpenTrust CMS. These are 2 of them. Online unlock. As an administrator, you register an online unlock and authorize an offline device unlock. We'll see these also in depth in the screen recording. This is sort of like a first briefing. Okay, now we'll go to the settings menu. Okay, here you have the important menus that I want you to focus your attention on are applications, PIN policies, vendors, and then everything wraps up together in the device management profiles. So basically you create, I'll explain in a second what each are, but the basic understanding here is that you create separate like objects, like an application. You create an object of PIN policies where you configure minimum length, maximum length, sequences, character types, whatever. But as an object, not associated to any profile, as well as vendors. Vendors is where you connect, where you configure or you add to the solution an object that tells the solution what type of card is allowed to be used. And then when you create your device management profile, it kind of glues everything together, because you create the profile and then you choose all the objects that you have created. You choose your applications that you want in your profile, you choose your PIN policies, vendors, and so on. Graphical personalization is for enterprises that want to print, the picture of the users on the card. You can create a graphical profile, sort of, and use it in a management profile, and then it'll automatically print on the card. Okay. So applications, and by the way, we'll look at them from bottom to top because again, everything glues together here in the profiles. So application. This is an application. Application is basically straightforward a certificate template. It's like a template in the Microsoft CA that is known. It's a template that holds one certificate. Here you can create or edit them. You can configure here the key length, if it's going to be RSA, ECC, 2048, 1024, and so on. Pretty basic. This is where you create and edit these templates. Afterwards, you have pin policies. Like I explained, you can set here an object that holds a pin policy of your choosing. Minimum length 4, max 4, you can make it 8, whatever. You can forbid sequences, basic PQ. Okay? Okay. Then you have the vendors. The vendors are, by the way, this is a drop-down menu that holds all the vendors that the OpenTrust solution knows already. Okay, you can't just create a vendor. You have to. It's like inside the system itself. It's coded inside with an identification number. So you choose and you create a vendor profile or object, let's say, of the tokens that you will be using in your solution. Okay, so now that we have all our objects created, we get to the device management profiles. A device management profile is basically like a template of templates. Okay, it's like a profile basically that you can add, as I said, all the applications you want, the pin policy you want, and the vendor you want. So if we go inside, so this slide is the list of profiles. And let's say we click on edit or create. So we go inside the device manager profile, and as you can see, inside the profile you have your device vendor that you choose for this specific profile. Okay, and then you have the applications that you created. These are all the applications you created, and you can choose a couple of them. You can choose 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter. The limit of the card is what matters here. And of course, pin policy, you got a drop-down menu that shows all of your pin policy objects. And that's about it. That's the device management profile. Now, once you enroll a certificate, you choose a profile, okay? The profile that you choose will download whatever is inside over here, what we configured. Okay, so now we got to the screen recordings. This is a basic OpenTrust actions. I hope you guys get at least a kind of a feel of the system with these recordings and with my earlier explanations. Let's continue. So this is self-enrollment. You guys remember I talked about self-enrollment where a user has an empty card and gives his administrator a serial number. The administrator adds it to the trusted serial numbers, and then the user can enroll. So this is how it's done. Okay? So this is the GUI application. By the way, this right here inside the GUI, they added a cool feature where the application shows you the device serial number. Now, once you double-click on it, the serial number is copied automatically to the clipboard, and then you can use it in the web interface and all kinds of things. It's really, really easy, really cool. So I'm choosing my user. This user right now is not known by the solution, okay? And so it tells me unknown device. So I connect. So again, as a user here, I hope you guys don't get confused. This system is showing also like a client and an administrator in the same system, in the same machine. But basically the web interface is like a different separate machine for the administrator, and the client is for the client, okay? So the client gave me his serial number. I went to the add trusted serial numbers. I add it. I choose the profile that we talked about. And now I associated a serial number with a certain profile. Okay, now once the user connects again, the solution already knows that he has to enroll, and he gives him an option to self-enroll, as you can see here.
Adam, a question?
Yeah.
Do you know if they have a batch enrollment feature? Like if I have 10,000 serial numbers?
Yes. we got a peeps of the batch enrollment, and soon we'll see a screen recording of it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is the self. Yeah. So again, the solution is now recognizing my serial number and then letting me activate my device, enrolling it. This is called self-enrollment in OpenTrust terminology. I'm choosing a password, right? I'm setting like a password. This is a new PIN and confirmation. There's no old here, yeah? I'm not changing anything. I also set, I don't know if you guys saw, I also set my security answer. So basically this is a setup of a new card remotely, okay? Not by an administrator, but by a user. That's it. Successfully activated. I'm good to go. Now if I choose and I open my yeah, so now once I open I connect to my user again, it's already enrolled and you can see all the options and everything like we saw before. Okay, cool. So now after I did this, usually what I want to do as an administrator, this is basically the first step you do once you get an OpenTrust environment. After that, you want to elevate the user. So let's see quickly how we elevate it, how we give it permissions of a badge officer. Now you can see it's a user, a regular user with the user options. I took the serial number of the device. I go to access control. We briefly talked about this. I click rights, not groups. I paste the serial number inside, look for the user, click on it and add it to the administrator group. Click save. And that's about it. But now, once we connect to the client again, we'll see that the options are of a badge officer. They're administrator options. We refresh by clicking home page, choose the user again, click continue. Enter the PIN, of course. And you can see all the badge officer options. So we effectively elevated a user to become a badge officer. Got a promotion. Okay, so now we're going to see what Yariv, I think, asked. Batch enrollment, yeah. So, yeah, pretty straightforward. By the way, a batch enrollment is done locally. This cannot be done remotely. The user and the administrator have to be connected to the same machine with two separate smart cards or tokens. Okay? So I choose my badge officer, first of all. And now I click. Okay, so now I click on batch enrollment. This is my profile. This is the profile we talked about earlier, the device management profile with all the certificate templates and PIN policies and vendors and everything here configured. Oh, sorry. Okay, I click on continue. After, by the way, I connected using my administrator. And then after I chose batch enrollment, I'm now asked to choose the user that I want to enroll on, or a couple of users. I click continue, and it starts the enrollment process, okay? Pretty straightforward, easy to use, and hopefully works. So I'll just progress this a bit. Generates data, receives data, imports. Okay. And then the device has been successfully activated, meaning that batch enrollment has passed successfully. So, okay. Oh, by the way, I had this in the end, after the enrollment is done, we can see, this is important, that the user gets his card as locked, because this is a secure way to transfer a card, okay, by mail or whatever. So after enrollment, the card is automatically locked, which brings us to the next subject of unlock. Okay?
Well, before you continue, Adam, it's Yariv again. So you
Yeah.
showed now one enrollment, right? I saw only one enrollment. So if I have 10,000, I need to do like 5, 10. How it's done?
Yeah, so exactly. So I did one for the purpose of time and relevance, because the enrollment process takes a while. But basically what's going on is that you choose, here you can choose a couple of users, and then you associate them to cards, okay, because you're not enrolling one certificate to each card. And then you simply enroll it, and it does it a batch number, okay? You can do 10, 100, doesn't matter.
Adam, it's done on the machine of the administrator, or it's running on the client side? Where do you have the card?
Again, batch enrollment is as far as I am working with it, is a local action. It has to happen locally, where my administrator is connected.
Okay, so I need to connect the card. Okay, I need to. I can use app with the multiply reader and card, and then to map it correctly and use it.
Exactly.
That's interesting point. Maybe we can discuss it afterwards offline. Is as an administrator to assign, like we do it with SAM, you assign to 500, 10,000 users, and then each user gets a card and enroll it on himself. But you don't need to do this.
This is not batch.
This is not batch.
Okay.
This is not batch. Batch, it's meaning that you batch with one shot for group of, you are managing the box.
Yeah, the card should be already assigned. Otherwise, you need
Honestly,
to assign one.
This is also not a real batch.
I think what you're referring to is the self-enrollment, where you add 10,000 trusted serial numbers, and then the users at their endpoints just connect them and enroll their devices. Okay, so that's self-enrollment.
Yeah, you can push them with the proper link, etc. Got it. Okay, Adam.
Okay. So now we're going on to unlock. The OpenTrust solution gives 4 methods. There are actually 5, but let's say 4 methods of unlock, because 2 are very similar. The OTP is very similar to the other one. So we'll talk about 4 methods of unlock in the OpenTrust solution. Basically, self-unlock uses your security question. It asks you what your favorite pet is. You give the answer, and you can set a new password. The online unlock, by the way, we'll see all these things in screen recording. So online unlock is you generate a request to your administrator. The administrator gives you a one-time password, and you enter it and set your PIN. Offline unlock uses challenge response code. Okay, as we know, you give the administrator your challenge from your middleware, your challenge code from the middleware you're using. He enters it into the OpenTrust solution, generates a response code, sends it to you, and then you can set your PIN. And the last one is badge officer unlock, which is basically set PIN using administrator rights. Now, one thing to notice here is that the first 3 can be done remotely. This one is locally. Okay, this one occurs where the administrator and the user are both connected to the same machine. So, okay, let's continue. Self-unlock, we're going to see the security question method. So I get my card, it's enrolled, but it's locked. Okay? I do self-unlock. It's an option that automatically jumps when I'm in this state. And it asked me I don't know if you guys saw that, it asked me my security question. I answered my answer, and I enter a new PIN. Okay? Straightforward, simple, easy. And your device has been successfully unlocked. The next method we'll see is online unlock with the OTP password. Okay, so I choose my locked user. Again, I got my device freshly enrolled but locked. I choose online unlock here. The device is locked. I send it. You see, it automatically gives me a screen relevant to my situation. I chose online unlock. It tells me, okay, give me your OTP. So the administrator, again, this is the machine with a user and administrator, just remember that. So the admin goes into his web interface, into OpenTrust CMS. Yeah, with the correct certificate. And he goes to unlock, chooses online unlock request. So register online unlock request. I enter the serial number of the user. The user has to give it to me, okay? So the user sent it to me by email or whatever. I paste it, find him, choose, and enter his security answer for him inside the web interface at my side as the admin. And click OK after a short comment and send him his OTP. The solution generated for me an OTP. I send it to him in email. He enters it and is able now to set his password. Okay, pretty straightforward. Again, the same thing, just with an OTP. Your device has been successfully unlocked. Next is offline unlock. This uses, again, I'll remind you, the challenge response code using your middleware, or Microsoft also can generate a challenge code. So you choose the locked user, you get your fresh card, it's locked, and you choose to do, no, not yet. Yeah, so you choose to do, 1 second. So I opened in this recording, I opened the middleware too early, and then I closed it. So I opened the CMS. Connect. Again, let's say I'm an administrator with my CMS always open because I have 10 million users. So it's always open and running. So this is the state I'm in. Okay. Now the user tells me, hey, I'm locked. I'll give you my my challenge code. So I find the user. I enter his security password, of course. And then I have something that's called in OpenTrust terminology pre-unlock code, which is basically the challenge code. So the user says, hey, 1 second, let me get you my challenge code. He goes into the middleware, hopefully using SOC. Does unlock, copies the challenge, sends it to his admin, and the administrator automatically will get a response code. Okay, device unlock code, which is a response code. The user goes back to his middleware, pastes it, sets a password, and he's good to go to send his emails or whatever he does. Okay, great. That's offline unlock. Now the last option is unlock in badge office. This happens locally with admin rights. It's basically a set pin function with administrator rights. Okay, so I connect as an administrator. First of all, I have 1 second, just to sharpen the point. I have my admin and my users connected in the same machine. Okay, guys. So I connect as my administrator. choose badge, unlock in badge office. That's how it's called. Unlock in badge office. Choose the user that is locked, and simply set his PIN. Just, yep, regular set PIN. The user's device has been successfully unlocked. Okay. Renewal. I talked a bit about renewal. If you guys will remember, renewal is when a certificate expires for a user that works a long time in the company, let's say. And the main thing to remember here is that a certificate is archived. Exchange certificate is archived once you do renewal, and the signature certificates for authentication and other stuff is deleted and replaced. Okay, so let's see what's going on. You won't see this, by the way. This happens in the belly of the software, but that's what happens. You get a new signature in Exchange. Your old signature is deleted. Your old Exchange is archived, so you can still decrypt older emails. Simply connect with your user and click Renew. Click Renewal, and then you see this. Start Renew. And it looks like a simple enrollment process, okay? Generating data, receiving data, importing, and you have your new Exchange, your archived Exchange, and your new signature certificates. That's basically it. Not too much to see here. It takes a while, as you guys can see, the enrollment on OpenTrust. It's cleaning the device. Committing. Device has been successfully renewed. That's about it. Now, last but not least, I talked to you guys about revoking a device in order to use it again in the OpenTrust solution. So let's quickly see how this is done. And I think this is the last slide, and hopefully we have time for questions. Yeah, so I'm connecting to the OpenTrust CMS where all the fun stuff happens. And then I go to revocation, revoke device. Now, I don't know if you guys will be using this, but it's extremely important to remember to recycle your device. There's a checkbox that you'll see in a moment. And if you don't check it, then you won't be able to use your card here. You won't be able to use your card with the OpenTrust solution ever again. So recycle after revocation, meaning that after you disassociate the card from the solution, you'll still be able to introduce it again and enroll on it and whatever. So this is the recycle option, very important for me at least. Revoke devices. Yeah, record this. Submitting a request. And then it automatically approves. All requests were submitted and automatically approved. So my card is now recycled. The OpenTrust solution has no idea who it is, and I'm also able to use it again. Yeah, my best slide yet. Ta-da! Thank you, guys. Questions? Is there any question? I don't even know how much time.
So when you get a support case that something doesn't work in OpenTrust, then you can tell, not a chance, I saw everything here, all works. And then
no excuses, guys, no excuses, yeah. Yeah, feel free. Yeah, I don't have anything to do. So send me your issues, guys.
Be careful with what you wish, Adam.
I hope everybody understood the sarcasm, but yeah.
Okay. Adam, is this a software that gets installed on a normal Windows server, or is it dedicated, like a different box?
Are you talking about the client? So like this, the client software is installed on Windows, obviously, the GUI application. The server side is installed on a Linux CentOS, and you connect to it through any browser, cross-platform, doesn't matter, and you connect through it to the web. Okay, so but the server side is Linux. Okay. And the client side is Windows.
Okay. And does this need an external certificate authority or does it manage everything by itself?
No, so this basically should be implemented together with your enterprise CA. Okay. So this is gonna manage your enterprise's CA. So it doesn't really need anything. This is just a demo server, so we have everything related to OpenTrust and any corp and stuff like that.
All right. And as we were talking about BSEC that supports common criteria, does OpenTrust support common criteria? Has all the PIN policies set up in?
I think no. Adam, did you?
Yes. I'm not sure we validated the whole scope of common criteria, but we definitely validated basic operations with it. We saw that enrollments, renewal, PIN policies are working. We tested. I don't know if you guys are. Yeah, you probably are familiar with the 940 card. We tested this, and everything.
There is a key you need to configure, right? I don't remember what was the.
For the 940, oh yes, for every common criteria card, you have to basically delete the PQ admin property. Okay, so in order for the CMS not to check password quality for the administrator password, you just have to delete it in the registry, or else you'll kind of fail while you enroll. Okay.
And everything is explained in the integration guide. So if you're interested, you can see the integration guide that Oren's team published already. There is also specific installation mode for OpenTrust. It's not a typical SAC. So there are two, if I remember, main installations.
Some customized mini driver profile with the configuration of API mode.
Yeah.
Open in a registry, which is configured with the value 6.
API mode is a specific property we developed only for OpenTrust because we understand that there was a technical issue for OpenTrust to understand which card is it and where to go. I mean, is it an ID prime, is it an e-token? So we provided the API mode in level 6 because it's an old property actually we used for an old card, for an old token. So 1 and 2 were taken already, so we developed the 6th value. Anyway, it doesn't matter for you guys, you just need to be aware that if you install a SAC with OpenTrust, you want it to work, you need the API mode, otherwise it will not work.
Okay.
And everything again is explained in the integration guide, so if you have further questions, even afterwards, if you need something specific, you can either contact Adam or Oren or myself to try to assist with understanding.
Adam, it's possible to control which commands the end user can perform?
Excuse me, can you repeat?
Is it possible to control the commands that the end user
the operation, not the commands.
Oh yes, definitely. With the appropriate rights, you can. There are many settings in this solution. I couldn't get into everything, but in the profile itself, you can set all kinds of configuration. What happens for a user when he enrolls, when he revokes, when he recovers, when he renews, when he does every single thing. You can configure if he's allowed to do or not allowed to do, if he can use his security questions or not use his security questions. Many settings. Okay, it's very dynamic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any specific use case that is OpenTrust is offering compared with what you said? So why choosing
OpenTrust?
Yeah, I know.
It's a French CMS. I think mainly Europe uses OpenTrust, or mainly French uses OpenTrust. Yeah, as Alon said, it's a business-wise. I don't see any pros or cons to use OpenTrust against it.
Yes, it seems like more like that.
לא, דיברנו.
You're a support guy.
Not that I'm familiar with.
So marketing-wise, you phrase it wrong. It doesn't hurt the customer. It is not slow.
Any other thing for Adam?
Any questions?
Adam, thank you very much for this session. It was very nice and very professional.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, have a good time there.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks, Adam.
See you. No problem.
Linux is waiting.
Linux is waiting.
Definitely, I know. Okay, guys, thank you. Bye.